Have you ever stood somewhere and felt completely certain that you'd been there before? And not deja vu, but something stranger, like a part of you remembered a place that your mind knows that you'd actually never been. Hi, I'm Linda Ray, and years ago on a trip to Italy, that's what happened to me. I was standing at the window of my hotel room looking out at the beautiful canals, and I got the craziest sense that I had been there before, standing at that exact same window. Not that I'd seen it in a photo or seen it in a movie, but that I saw it with my own eyes. And that feeling came over me again when I was at the Colosseum. It was like a pull, like something in me recognized a place it shouldn't have. And I couldn't stop asking myself the question while I was in Europe, what if the feeling was an imagination? What if it was memory of a previous life or lives? And that question eventually became a book. Because standing in all that history, I kept thinking about all the women and girls and men that had lived it before. The martyrs, the ones that history burned, specifically Joan of Arc. And I started to wonder, what if one soul had lived all of those lives and then woke up now as an ordinary teenager who had no idea what was going on? That became the theme, and that character, Joan Portman, who is at the center of the series. She is not Joan of Arc, at least when she wakes up. She's Joan of Cincinnati. And in the book, she starts having nightmares so vivid and so specific that she begins to wonder if they maybe aren't nightmares at all, but rather memories. Because this Joan has lived before, different names, different centuries, always the same soul. And here's what haunts her. In every one of the lives, they end the same way. She dies a virgin young martyr, and they're violent, and she begins to wonder if history isn't asking too much of her to sacrifice her lives for someone else. And she's hoping to break the pattern or wondering if she has to die one more time. And that's the story behind the Veilwalker Chronicles, The Shadow of the Veil. And I wrote the books because I wanted readers to live Joan's journey. But I built this channel because I wanted readers to meet Joan, not as the character on a page, but as the girl who remembers it all. The lives, the losses, the history, and all of the wonderfully awkward details in history that your teacher left out. And honestly, who better than to host the channel The Veilwalkers than the girl who actually lived it? So Joan, take it away.
Linda. Thanks, I guess. Hi, I'm Joan Portman. That's me in the front. Just your average teenager trying to survive high school. The other three? Long story. Fortunately, that's why we're here. Those are all me, in lives I've lived before. As Alea, a gladiator in ancient Rome. As Anna, a concert pianist during World War II. And as Joan of Arc. You've probably heard of me. Personally, I thought high school was going to be my biggest problem. Turns out being burned at the stake was worse. Linda insists she wrote the story. I keep reminding her that without me, it's just a stack of paper. So, welcome to Veilwalker. I'll tell you what ancient Rome was really like. Why medieval armor is every bit as uncomfortable as you're imagining. And answer life's truly important questions. Like, how do you use the bathroom while wearing 50 pounds of armor? Seriously, people ask me that all the time. I'll introduce you to some of the people I used to be, and maybe convince you that history isn't nearly as boring as your textbook made it sound. Sometimes it'll just be me. Sometimes Linda will wander in with one of her author insights. She means well. Most of the time, so hit subscribe. Come along for the ride. And if you happen to end up a virgin martyr, I'd recommend trying something different next time. I've already checked that box.